Hamas is an Islamist resistance organization and political movement in the Palestinian territories. The history and evolution of Hamas sheds light on the complexity and political dynamics of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Hamas traces its roots to the Muslim Brotherhood, a global Islamic political and social organization rooted in Egypt. The Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood began to exert its influence in the Gaza Strip in the late 1960s and early 1970s and formed the intellectual and ideological foundations of Hamas. We will take a short tour of the chaotic lands in the Middle East. If you are ready with your coffee and in front of your screens, here we go. In the turbulent political environment of the late 1980s, the Palestinian territories were seething with discontent and disillusionment. The PLO had become increasingly ineffective and corrupt, leaving a power vacuum that needed to be filled. This unstable atmosphere provided the perfect backdrop for the emergence of Hamas. Many factors contributed to the formation of Hamas. Hamas, whose long name is Harakat al-Muqawama al-Islamiyya, was born in 1987 as a branch of the Muslim Brotherhood. What distinguished Hamas from other Palestinian groups was its focus on religion as a unifying force. It tapped into the deep-seated religious beliefs of many Palestinians, providing a platform that combined social services, education, and political activism with armed struggle against Israeli forces. In 1987, the Palestinian people began a mass uprising against Israeli oppression. This uprising is known as the First Intifada. Hamas was born during this period as a coordinated resistance movement against Israel in the Palestinian territories. It was formed by the coming together of Islamic organizations and activists in Palestine. Prominent among the founding leaders of Hamas are Sheikh Ahmed Yassin and Ismail Abu Shanab. Yassin was known as the religious leader of Hamas, while Abu Shanab was one of its political leaders. These leaders, with their Islamist ideology, shaped Hamas's main goals. Led by Sheikh Ahmed Yassin, a charismatic figure, Hamas aimed to establish an Islamic state in Palestine and fight against Israel through armed resistance. In the early 1990s, the Palestine Liberation Organization began peace talks with Israel as part of the Oslo Peace Accords. Hamas rejected these agreements and believed that peace with Israel could jeopardize the rights of the Palestinian people. Resistance against Israel continued during this period. Since its inception, Hamas has seen various leaders at the helm, each shaping the organization's trajectory. Following the assassination of Sheikh Ahmed Yassin by Israel in 2004, Khaled Meshal assumed leadership from exile. Under his guidance, Hamas expanded its international reach, receiving support from countries such as Qatar and Iran. In 2017, Ismail Haniyeh took over as the new leader, guiding Hamas through periods of diplomatic engagement with Israel and armed conflict. Each leader brought a unique perspective and leadership style, influencing the organization's strategies and priorities. Hamas has grown from a small resistance group into a multifaceted organization with a political and military wing. The group's social programs, including schools, hospitals, and philanthropic initiatives, helped it consolidate its position as a provider of basic services to Palestinians. This dual approach, combining grassroots support and armed resistance, enabled Hamas to gain broad popular support and sustain its influence. Over the years, Hamas has also adapted its tactics and strategies, from suicide bombings during the Second Intifada to the launching of rockets into Israeli territory. Hamas's ideology is based on its interpretation of Islam. It seeks to establish an Islamic state in the entire territory of historic Palestine, which it sees as an Islamic endowment belonging to all Muslims. This religious dimension distinguishes Hamas from other Palestinian groups because it sees the conflict with Israel not only as a struggle for national liberation, but also as a religious duty. Hamas' main goals include the liberation of Palestine from Israeli oppression, the right of return for Palestinian refugees, and the establishment of an independent Palestinian state with Jerusalem as its capital. Critics argue that Israel's refusal to recognize its right to exist has hindered the peace process, while Hamas maintains that any solution must include justice for Palestinians and address their historical grievances. In addition to armed resistance, Hamas has also engaged in some political and diplomatic initiatives. While some have criticized the group's refusal to renounce violence or recognize Israel, Hamas has participated in elections, both in the Palestinian Authority and in Gaza. Hamas's rise to power in the Gaza Strip following its victory in the 2006 Palestinian legislative elections brought with it a number of challenges and controversies. Hamas faced significant challenges in effectively governing the Gaza Strip, including economic crises, infrastructure deficiencies, and a lack of international recognition for its militant activities. The international community has raised concerns about the treatment of Gazan civilians under Hamas rule, including allegations of human rights violations and restrictions on freedom of expression. Hamas rule in Gaza has strained relations with Fatah, the leading political party in the Palestinian Authority, leading to a split between the West Bank and Gaza and hampering national unity efforts. Hamas's political influence extends beyond its rule in the Gaza Strip. The group's relationship with Fatah and the Palestine Liberation Organization has shaped the Palestinian political landscape. Attempts to reconcile Hamas and Fatah have encountered numerous obstacles, including disagreements over the approach towards Israel, the disarmament of Hamas, and the formation of a unified government. Hamas's refusal to renounce violence and recognize Israel has prevented it from gaining acceptance in the international community and participating in peace talks and diplomatic negotiations. Hamas has sought to expand its influence within the PLO, the coalition of Palestinian factions recognized as the sole representative of the Palestinian people, but has faced opposition from Fatah and other factions. The designation of Hamas as a terrorist organization by various countries and international organizations has had significant consequences for Hamas's position in the global community. The US designated Hamas as a foreign terrorist organization, placing restrictions on its financial resources and prohibiting any support or engagement with the group. The EU classifies Hamas's military wing as a terrorist organization, while maintaining a limited relationship with its political wing in order to foster dialogue and promote peace. Some Arab countries are divided in their attitude towards Hamas, with some providing political and financial support, while others see the group as a threat to regional stability. The international community has adopted different approaches towards Hamas, ranging from isolation to engagement. Countries such as Israel, the United States, and Canada refuse to engage with Hamas because it refuses to recognize Israel's right to exist and renounce violence. Some countries and international mediators have sought to engage with Hamas in the context of peace negotiations, recognizing the need to involve all relevant parties to reach a comprehensive solution. The different international perspectives on Hamas highlight the complexity of engaging with a designated terrorist organization while seeking a solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. In conclusion, the creation of the Hamas terrorist organization is a complex process deeply rooted in Palestinian history and regional dynamics. The group emerged as a result of widespread discontent with existing secular nationalist organizations and benefited from the rise of political Islam in the Muslim world. Hamas's focus on armed resistance and commitment to an Islamic agenda distinguished it from other Palestinian groups. Understanding the historical context and factors that contributed to Hamas's rise to power is crucial to understanding its subsequent development and its lasting impact on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We will always be against war. Terrorism, on the other hand, has no defense. Today, the process that started with Hamas terrorist acts is causing a lot of damage to the civilian population on both sides. We hope that this process will end as soon as possible and peace will be achieved. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Share your thoughts and ideas about the video in the comments section. You can also turn on notifications to get more content and be part of our community. See you in the next video.